Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. In my today's session, I'll be discussing about lateral thinking. The need to be right all the time is the biggest bar to new ideas. Lateral thinking is also called horizontal thinking. It is a form of ideation where designers approach problems by using reasoning that is disruptive or not immediately obvious. They use indirect and creative methods to think outside the box and see the problem from radically new angles, gaining insights to help find innovative solutions. You cannot dig a hole in different place by digging that same hole deeper. Dr. Edward de Bono, the brain training pioneer who devised lateral thinking. Lateral thinking comes in essentially thinking outside the box. The box refers to apparent constraints of the design space and our limited perspective from habitually meeting problems head on and linearly. Let's have an example of lateral thinking. Here are a few practical examples of how you might use horizontal thinking or lateral thinking in the workplace. In customer facing problems, you might encounter customers who are unreasonable or demanding. Many companies have guidelines for approaching this issue, and some include detailed steps. Others have broader guidelines to accommodate unique situations. You might use horizontal thinking to find a solution if the standard steps don't work. For example, if a customer wants to return a product that disappointed them, the logical thinking solution is to process the refund. Horizontal thinking could not involve processing the refund and finding a similar product that could fit the customer's needs. Working with missing supplies, you may face an issue that normally requires specific supplies or materials to solve. If they are available, then logical thinking can address the issue. When the supplies or materials aren't available, possibly because you are waiting on a shipment, you might want to use horizontal thinking to find a creative solution. An example solution could be that half of the decorations you require for an event go missing during transit. There are a variety of ways you could solve this problem, such as replacing missing decoration by shopping at local store. If you don't have access to new decoration, you could use horizontal thinking to come up with creative placement for the remaining decorations. Using your imaginations. Use your imaginations to see the picture when you see. Focus on overlooked aspects of situation, challenge assumptions to break free from traditional ways of understanding a problem, concept or any solution. Seek alternatives, not just alternative potential solutions but alternative way of thinking about the problem. Four critical factors which have been identified by Edward de Bono were: first, you have to recognize the ideas that polarize perceptions of a problem because every person has different perceptions. Secondly, you have to search for different ways of looking at things. As when we are talking about that each and every individual perspective depends on the personality traits of the individual, so that person might be seeing one issue in a very different way from another person. Then thirdly, relaxation of rigid control of thinking. And fourthly, there is a use of chance to encourage other ideas as well. How to improve your lateral thinking? Basically, improving these skills can be challenging as lateral thinking comes from naturally to some people than others. However, like everything else, practice makes perfect, and setting yourself lateral thinking examples can help you because this type of skill is situational and displays a thought process rather than something physical. Like IT skills, for example, it can be tough to come up with the ways of boosting your ability. The question arises how we can improve our lateral thinking. Here are some exercises you could try. The first one, which I am going to tell you, is mind mapping. Mind maps can be a great way of solving a problem when logical thinking just doesn't help. Because mind maps are visual aids, they require your brain to adjust its thought processes, which can often help you to find answers unexpectedly. Mind maps give you the opportunity to put all your ideas on the paper and then take a step back to gather your thoughts. Mind mapping exercises also plays a significant role whenever you are doing anything in your classrooms or presentations, or you are teaching, as well as like doing the trainings as well. Then comes using your senses. We all have five senses: sight, touch, hearing, smell, taste. And yet we were really using all of them from the early ages to solve any problem. Typically, you may use your visual senses to work things out, but making use of the other senses can sometimes have useful results. For example, when faced with a problem, why not speak your thoughts aloud and record them on your mobile phone? When you listen back, you may find something that you would have missed. Or you are talking to your friends, just start writing down the key points so that if you are going to miss them, you can refer those back and you can have a clear understanding to improve your lateral thinking. Then come reverse thinking. Reverse thinking involves analyzing what people normally do in a situation and doing the opposite. If you find yourself only getting so far into a problem and then making yourself stuck in something, you might want to start at the end and work backwards. For example, look at the problem and then describe what you would ideally like the solution to be. From there, you can begin working backwards to find the starting point of your solution. I have seen many people who are reading something and they are thinking in a lateral or horizontal format. They normally read from the backward, like they are reading some book, they are reading some novel. Normally people do this activity. Now the question arises that after having a polished vertical and horizontal thinking, what different professions you can talk about? Today we will be discussing about lateral thinking, so I will be discussing about horizontal thinking career pathways. You can choose basically when lateral thinking is a useful skill, whatever job you end up by doing. But there are certain career paths where it can really come in handy. Here are certain examples of lateral thinking choices. It can be used for advertising. People who work in advertising use this type of thinking to persuade your product lines to your customers. It is often those adverts that make us think a little different that we remember the most. Because sometimes advertisings are giving certain teasers, certain brainstorming words. So they are those things which make you think a little different way. Then comes marketing. Marketers often have to come up with a novel and creative ideas and ways to promote their products and services. Although there are certain rules in marketing, it is often the campaigns that bend the rules slightly, and then even then they are successful. Then media. Working in media, you may have to use this thinking techniques of lateral thinking to deliver a message in a creative way. Whether you are a journalist, filmmaker, or press release writer, some sideways thinking can come in handy. Hopefully, all these examples of lateral thinking will help you in future whenever you are taking any project or doing any project on wider scale or horizontal thinking. You are doing it at any level. Now it's time to check out those other skills as well which you need, and you can come up in the comment box. Just write it to me. I'll come up with more ideas. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.